Hey there, I am back with another deck review, and today I'm going to be looking at Endless Time playing cards from Estonia-based designer Aleksander Feldman with the help of his friend Dennis Kosterman. This deck was funded on Kickstarter in late 2019, started fulfilling in the early part of 2020. It is inspired by time and pretty much wanting to create a card and a deck that explored a world where time was infinite, where you didn't have to worry about the limits of time. So interesting theme behind the deck, but let's take a look at how it comes to life in these cards. All right, as always, we start with the tuck case. It's a regular glossy finish, smooth tuck case. No embossing, no foiling or anything like that. Just all blue and white. So the tuck case itself is blue. I really like this shade. It's even got a little bit of like almost purple in it. But it is kind of a light blue. And then all of the designs on it are just done in thin white lines. Most prominent feature is going to be this infinity symbol there, obviously echoing that theme of infinite time. And then you can see the 4 suit designs with clubs, diamonds, hearts, and spades and the 4 sides there. It says Endless Time playing cards, and at the top, first edition, so there may be more in the future. And then a Latin phrase here, Fugit irreparabile tempus, which means irretrievable time is flying. That's an interesting choice to put this phrase up there, because in the original writing, that phrase really kind of meant the opposite of the theme of the deck. So the deck is looking at infinite time, but that phrase is really talking about how time is very finite and how we should like seize the moment because time flies, basically. So interesting choice to put that on there. I'm not sure if it was just meant to be a contrast or just kind of a misuse of that phrase. But then around the outside, you have a very simple line border broken up on the 4 sides by the infinity symbol. So very nice front design to the cards, very clean, very simple. On the sides, you've got Endless Time, the colorway Origin Blue. And then on the other side, that phrase again, Fugit irreparabile tempus. Bottom has your ad copy as well as the logo for Endless Time playing cards. And you can see these are printed by Cardistry. And then the top, nothing there that you can see. It's covered up mostly by that custom tuck seal. You can see that beautiful blue and white, almost a paisley pattern going on in the back. And then as you turn it sideways, you can see the infinity symbol in the center. Back's going to be the back design of the cards that, as usual, we'll take a closer look at in a second. And then nothing printed on the inner flap here. You just have the Endless Time playing card logo printed on these inner flaps. And then nothing printed on the interior of the tuck. That's it. That is the tuck case. Very simple, clean look to the tuck case. I like the thin white lines going all the way through. Let's check out the cards, and we will start with the back design. Here it is, just like we were looking at on the tuck itself. More that blue with shades of purple in it. Obviously, mostly features this kind of abstract drawing of an hourglass, and you can see the kind of waves representing the sand on either side of it. Forms this 2-way design, has an infinity symbol cutting across the middle of it, symbolizing infinite time. And then you have these line borders going all the way through, again broken by the infinity symbols on the 4 corners. A series of blue and white borders, and then it finishes in this thin white poker border around the edge. On either base, I guess you would say, of the hourglass, you've got that phrase again, Fugit irreparabile tempus. And that finishes out kind of a cool looking back design. I like what was done on this one. There's a lot going on, but with a simple color scheme, it keeps it a very functional, usable deck with that back design. So not bad. There is the back design, one of my favorite parts of the deck. Extra cards you do get 4 extra cards. So starting with the 2 jokers, you get a blue and a red. So both of them feature that hourglass with the Latin phrase again, Joker, Joker in the corners, and just sort of a gradient of those blue lines representing the sand and then red lines on the other one. There's a close-up look at it. I like it. Simple jokers again, but I like them. So there are your 2 jokers. You do get a duplicate 10 of clubs card, so good for magic, and a double backer, another gaff good for magic. So we really wanted these to be decks that were good for both magicians and cardists, so maybe you'll see that as we go through here. All right, now looking at the rest of the deck, and we'll start with the ace of spades. And you can see that large spade pip in the center. All of the aces are going to feature a large version of the pip. And then it says Endless Time playing cards printed in Belgium, of course, by Cardistry. Have a custom font and then that same pip featured in the corners. All of the pips are going to feature an infinity symbol somewhere on them. So you can see the bottom portion of that spade was cut out to make an infinity symbol. And as you continue through the number cards, you'll see that finished out. The pips on the card themselves are actually filled in on those infinities, so it makes it a little bit more solid of a spade pip. A little bit easier to identify that as a spade pip compared to the one in the corner. And as you go through, they're all going to be pretty standard layout. Kind of smaller on the pips in the center than maybe you're used to on a bicycle deck. And then you get to the court cards. And the court cards are completely redesigned. They're in the style of kind of older Cardistry or bicycle decks that you may have seen. You can see the kind of slightly deformed faces and kind of fatter faces, I guess, on the cards themselves. But they're done in this really nice blue and red color scheme. I like the color scheme quite a bit. They're all going to be embellished with extra little elements from the deck, most notably that infinity symbol there in the center, but mostly just a recolored version. So really nicely done. I like the court cards a lot. They fit very well with the deck, not a distraction. Sometimes you'll get a deck like this and then they'll use like a standard color scheme for the courts or something like that. And really to me detracts. So I like that they kind of fit it in with the rest of the scheme of the deck. Here's your diamonds. Again, that pip now is going to feature the infinity symbol forming the center of the diamond. So you get the infinity worked in there. Means that the two left and right sides of the diamond are really kind of rounded edges, which is kind of interesting. But there are your diamonds. There's the quartz, more of the same. And then into the clubs. So there's your club quartz and through the rest of the clubs. And you can see this is probably the easiest one to work the infinity symbol into it. Obviously the bottom two leaves of the club were formed using the infinity symbol. And then into the hearts, where the top of the heart becomes that infinity symbol. And there's your red quartz down through your number cards. And of course, finishing with the ace of hearts, where you can see that heart. So what do you think of the deck overall? I like it. I think it's a fairly functional deck. The handling on it is really nice. It's done in the slimline stock from Cardistry with the B9 finish. So those always, especially right out of the box, handle extremely well in my opinion. So it's going to handle really well. It's going to be a great functional deck that you can use for Magic or for gameplay or for Cardistry. Really pretty functional for anything. I will say the only thing functionally that really holds us back a little bit is it's a little bit hard when you're looking at these symbols in the corner to differentiate between the suits. It can be a little bit tricky. I'll say, you know, when you look at that club and spade side by side, at a glance, those are going to look really similar. So I find that to be a little bit of a distraction. It's a little better when the suits are filled in like this. Makes it a little easier to see. But on those corners, which is what you're going to use when you're in gameplay and fanning it out, those can be a little bit hard to differentiate. So I think that kind of holds it back a little bit. But otherwise, that's it. That's a look at a rookie deck from Aleksander Feldman. I think he did a really nice job with this one. If you're interested in these, you can still check these out. They're available, I think it's endlesstimeplayingcards.com. I'll put a link down in the description for that if you're interested in checking this deck out. Otherwise, subscribe for more deck reviews and unboxings. Let me know what you want to see, and I'll see you for the next one.